no pressure or anything. But
I've been prepared for this moment.
oh, nice,
I'm prepared.
good.
The bald-faced lie.
You ready? Good.
Oh no, oh no.
The heroes of the Vale are deposited at the entrance of the fortress of Motherhorn in an attempt to find Gleam's sister at the portion of Blue's soul. Inside is an insane theater of grim tales. They do free Glister or Gleam and have an audience with Bitter in the Hag. Todd died. They prepare to put on Tales of the Vale and perhaps assassinate the Prophet Hag herself. Again, Todd died.
Oh, I wrote that.
I would also
You
like
see,
to remind.
It's the hack. It's always been there. You write the session result, and we just
Fucking
repeat it back
genius.
to you.
Oh my god, that's perfect. I love you.
I'm confronted with my own words.
I think that we can all agree Thomas should be banned from the server.
No way. He should be promoted to new admin. Damn. Oh,
I would also like to mention that Twiggy also died.
Woggle
And-
Twig.
Woggle Twig.
Yeah, and Tiffany, in her wrath, threw him off of the side of the castle so that we couldn't bring him back to life again with an acorn.
It's actually pronounced protected them both from you because I was certain you would use him as the makings of the campfire to cook Todd, you fucks.
That's also a good idea, but we could have brought them back, and you were like, no.
We've
off the
already made
castle with
Woggle
you.
Twig live twice, and I'm pretty sure, despite my intentions to not have it be that way, that he was actually enslaved to my will, and that makes me uncomfortable.
It was more like a voluntary indentured servitude kind of situation, I think. He was
Pretty sure this
paying
still
off
counts as
his
It
slavery.
was a life
It-
debt.
Yeah, he was paying off his debt to you. It's there's a
Has
subtle
never seen-
difference. It's like slavery with extra steps.
Haven't you ever seen Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves? It was a life debt, you know?
Oh man, I'm gonna write that down to revisit that. Robin Hood.
Wait, you've never seen Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves?
Not since I was like 15 on TBS or something like that
Okay.
when I was a kid.
It's a good
I mean, I've seen
Also,
Robin Hood and Men in Tights.
I was about to say Men of Tights is obligatory.
one. That's excellent
Obligatory.
parody.
I'll have to add to that. Okay, listen. Yeah, I don't have any. What else? But we're gonna put on a play because the hag, she is like,
wants us to.
yeah, she's like, well, I'll talk to you. Like she said, I misunderstood. I want to help you. I'll turn against my sisters. You know I don't like them. Let's try to work this out. But it is the rule of my house that if someone enters, they must put on a good play. And so you are all now at the stage of Motherhorn, where grim plays are performed. And you're next to Stage Fright the Goblin, who and we'll just kind of go from there. Does anybody have any questions or kind of
Another
to-dos?
important bit that's
Yes.
worth reminding is that we're also, while this is going on, attempting to pull and I'm totally forgetting one of the names, but we're of the relevant people, but we're attempting to pull off Operation, but other than that, Mrs. Lincoln.
Oh, yeah, that's
where-
right.
Yeah, where Glister, who we freed, is going to attempt to assassinate the hag during an artificial eclipse
40 feet
using stage props.
above the stage is the viewing room for Endola Moongrave, the bitter end. She has prophecies of all of you and all of sorts of things that are happening, but according to her, she can't see into her future beyond her end, which she believes will happen during an eclipse. So yeah, you all have found a big moon stage prop and had it lifted by some magical crane device all the way up above her her viewing room. So will it work? I don't know. And then the other thing is Caber. You have a parasol with a weather vane.
I have a parasol with a weather vane.
Yeah, I thought you might would take it. So I did that while you were gone.
Okay. What color is it?
I like to imagine that it's like it's not really very complicated. Like the parasol is like maybe like a pastel, like a lavender kind of color. But then the weather vane is just, it's basically like in trying to get shocked with lightning, and it's really ostentatious and big. It probably has like a what do you? Oh man, rooster, like something like really big.
Okay, and so like when you say weather vane, you mean like the thing that spins pointing in the
Yeah,
direction
that's
of-
metal,
right.
and it has like a metal tip to it.
And it's got like a large cock on top. Okay.
That's what I was trying not to say. Yep. That's it. All right.
It's okay. We're definitely not recording yet.
All
Just
right.
getting warmed up.
What is everybody's roles? Does everybody remember their roles for the play?
Oh, gosh, what was I? Some like weird apothecary or something?
If y'all didn't write it down, we can re-roll if you want to do that.
Can we do that since I wasn't here?
I
Yeah.
feel like I was a bard or something like that.
Okay, well
That's
let's
all
just
I
re-roll.
kind of vaguely remember, but yeah, I recommend re-roll it.
I'm an honorable knight risen from the dead, unless we're re-rolling.
You can keep that one. So everybody roll a d8 unless you see either an 8, you'll have to re-roll, or if you get the result of the person in front of you, you have to re-roll.
I got
Caber, you'd need to re-roll.
Right.
Yeah, obviously. Caber, you are a high and mighty princess.
Fantastic. Do we have a script?
I got
I'll
a
explain
5.
that in a second.
We're going. The
This
goblin
is
says he's
really
going to feed
interesting.
us the lines.
Right.
Yeah,
You,
literally.
Blue, you are a drunken satyr.
Fair.
What did you say, Mason?
got a 5.
You are a nervous apothecary.
Yay.
What'd you get, Sean?
3.
You'll have to re-roll.
Oh, yep, somebody had a 3 there. Okay, let's see. Doobly-doo.
I'm going to make the executive
I don't-
choice to poorly play a satyr and keep my pants on.
You are a foolish minstrel.
Sounds about right.
And that's everybody, I think, except for Clapperclaw the Scarecrow. It's not fair. I'm actually going to keep Clapperclaw out because it's not fair for me to ruin the game for you all.
Oh, dear God.
So I'm going to tell you meta how this works, and then I'm going to tell you and then we'll start. And you're here on the stage of Motherhorn, and you're here with Stage Fright the Goblin. There are these 2 goblins you met, Speckle Nose and Zolt. They are operating these huge magical cranes with magical, and someone cast detect magic, I think maybe Faith, and determined that the threads, the ropes that operate these huge cranes are magical in some way. And one of them has risen as high as it'll go, and it has that moon way up above the stage, 80 feet up above the stage right now. And anyways, the way the game works, meta, is in order to please the audience, you can gain a point every time you... so there's no rolling. This is improvised. I know, right?
Oh no.
I'm scared.
Got this.
I don't got this. I'm horrible at improvising.
You can do this. You play Dungeons and Dragons as a hobby. You
Yeah,
have
and I-
trained for this
You're pretty
moment.
hardcore, actually, about improv. Actually, believe it or not, you're kind of the actual pro.
Remember,
I don't believe that, but
Hold
okay.
on, stop. The nervousness you feel right now, perfect. You're doing wonderful. Now you just need to get the apothecary bit down, and you're perfect. You're doing great.
Okay.
Oh man!
Remember, nervous apothecary, you're not good at it. You might kill someone if you attempt to give them a cough medicine.
Now,
Be nervous.
I want to clear this up. You all can help each other. Okay, so yes, you can roleplay, but you can also be meta, and you can hop in and be like, "What about this?" or like, "Hey, say this or do this," in character or whatever. Okay, but you can get a point every time if your hand. So Stage Fright has put you up here, and he looked at the play, and he's like, "Well, we don't really have any time to go over this, so I'll just feed you the lines." And then he hopped off the stage. And we'll talk. We'll play that out in a second. But basically, he's just leaving you here high and dry. He's going to feed you lines, and you don't know what the play is. But
Anyone have coconut halves?
You're announcing. you announce it because you told me this is what you want to do. That this is the tale of the Vale. And anyways, you tally a success every time you receive a line, and it complements the narrative. So long as it actually is a story at all, you get a point. You can get a point every time you give something that is particularly gruesome, tragic, or darkly humorous, and act it out.
All right, this is my time to shine.
Each time you're given a line, you can only get up to 2 points.
Can I start calling you Drew Carey, Ross?
I know we're doing it.
God damn it.
And also there are no rules and none of it matters. It's true. You get a failure every time you loiter on stage for too long without speaking. Basically, if you stumble on your words, and you get another failure if time goes by long enough, such that Stage Fright has to intervene.
Oh dear.
But if you're not speaking, standing there, Stage Fright has already intervened.
So you can lose 2 points. You get -2.
Oh, I was just being a smartass. Okay.
Yeah, how many points get subtracted for puns?
If it fits, you get 2. You get a point if it works.
All right, Sean. No pressure, but you have to carry us.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna let's see.
Let me just adjust something real quick here.
So, Stage Fright the Goblin, he's guided you down to the stage of this big castle, the Castle Motherhorn, and the stage here is actually it's hanging out into space over the edge of the castle, where you can look down and there's this chasm of lightning and just a void of space that seems to go on forever, thousands of feet below you. And then you have these 2 huge combination of lighting and crane things next to you, operated by goblins. And he brings you down here and he says, "Now listen, Bitter End, she wants a tragedy, okay? Something gruesome, something depressing, real dark stuff, okay? That's what she's into. Let me see what I've got here." And he sifts through like some different scripts, and he looks at it and he's like, "No, I don't know. Usually we've got like a few hours, about 8 hours to prepare or so. But I'm sure you'll be fine. We have to get started right away. So, since you can't memorize your lines, I'll just feed them to you. Okay? All right, you'll do great." And then he hops back behind the stage. And
before you leave, can we
he
have
pokes
like
back
some
out.
makeup, some costuming, anything?
Oh, I forgot to mention. So they were able to look through the costuming, and they didn't really pick anything except they took
spiders.
Well, yeah, but you could pick the spiders out. I should have made that clear. So I'll tell you, because Caber was there, I'll tell you what was in the props rooms. There's 2 prop rooms in the castle. There is in the southern one, there's a chest full of powdered wigs. Every one of them full of harmless crawling spiders. There was a mouse trap that was 8 feet long and 3 feet wide. And a parasol topped with a copper weather vane, which you have currently. And then in the northern prop room, there is a 3 foot high Gargoyle, which I believe you all took, right?
We also took the mousetrap.
And then there's a baby goblin doll in a cradle, and no one took that because it was gross.
Can I just say that I have one of the powdered wigs?
Yeah, sure.
And that if I stumble in character, it could just be a spider crawl into my mouth.
That's
Like
what
the best actors do.
That's an automatic point. Oh god, a spider went in his mouth. If you die in the court, if your character dies or something happens to you, you are ushered off stage, but you're expected to come back on at the end and take your bow. But you can no longer gain points for the group.
Do you still lose points for the group?
No,
If you're dead?
no.
I has
me
to be
up
worth
early.
quite a few
So,
points. I
so
mean,
if you
this
want
is
to put
trad-
like the entire responsibility on somebody, everybody can make their character die, I guess.
I feel like all 4 of them are just gonna walk out on the stage and commit suicide.
Okay.
That would be dark.
That would
yeah,
be a
but
tragedy.
we got to put lines in between there. We've got to like Romeo and Juliet this stuff, you know, like.
Oh no, I just
Yeah,
meant to
of
put the
course
whole
we're
thing
going to
on
kill
me.
ourselves, but we have to get. There's a journey involved as well.
So, okay, so before you begin, and I'm going to give you, you can take 4 minutes, 5 minutes, if you want to have a huddle and want to prepare something or talk through how you would do this or whatever.
4 minutes starting now?
Yeah.
Alright guys, so I've been thinking, my character should be Miss Golden Stove, and I've lost all of my eggs, and I'm looking for them, but none of you know where they are, and it's pretty
Your eggs
terrible.
or your marble?
Both. But I'm more concerned about the eggs because they'll spoil. The marbles will be fine. They'll just get a little dusty.
I'm apparently just a nervous apothecary who has no name, just apothecary or doctor.
I mean, we can get Doc. It's a good name. We just call you Doc. It's fine.
Is that like your soliloquy, your like musical number? I'm just a nervous apothecary. Like you're like is that completely separate from everything else?
So are we gonna do the Tale of the Vale? Is this gonna be like?
I think he's
tracking-
feeding us lines, but I don't know how helpful that will be.
Yeah, I don't know what that'll. I feel like that's gonna
Kinda
affect
makes me
the entire
nervous.
character of this experience. Is like, what lines does he feed us? Do they make sense? How much are we just
Whose
acting out?
line
the
is it
lines?
anyway? You know.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's all
It's
stage
gonna
fright
be-
lines.
it's gonna be a problem.
Do you want to use the lighting or the props in any way to begin an intro, or does someone give a Shakespearean style synopsis at the beginning or anything like that?
Who's our audience?
Ah, I'm sorry, you weren't here. Let's talk about the audience. They're
That's
all
how I detect magic.
they're all dark figures sitting silently in black robes, staring silently from the crowd.
Oh,
So-
yeah, they're creatures that we know of. They're fey creatures who age dramatically if exposed to light. So, like, push comes to shove, just like knock down the lighting.
And it only cost one about 10 years of his life for us to learn that.
I was like more like 100 years. I mean, you really did him in.
No. What was I gonna do? Just ask him? They're creepy robed guys in a place where everything's been trying to kill us. Like,
It's polite to not age people.
before I was in the Feywilds or whatever, or hither and thither and yon, I would have agreed with you.
You guys have a minute and a half left.
Oh dear.
We have got this, guys.
I mean, what
I
can we
believe
even
in
really
us.
plan? Like,
It's
I know the
all-
guy. I know Stage Fright told us he's gonna feed us lions, but has he actually told the characters?
A line
what we're gonna
a line is literally
plan?
going to be like like half a sentence though. So like
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
but I mean, like,
yeah.
has he literally even told? Like, do we in character know what the
Yes.
play is? Like, I know we know.
You know, he
You
looked
know, yeah.
he looked at the plays and he's like, "Oh, we don't have time. I'll just feed you the lines."
Yeah, so we don't even know what we're doing. There's
Yeah,
nothing
it's
to
all,
know.
guys,
Just
remember
whatever he
the
feeds us.
principle of yes and? Just yes and everything. Just like, I'm all about what you're doing and also this thing.
And if you think a musical number would look great there, just fucking do it. We got nothing to lose.
Just belt it out. They're probably low standards here. They don't have like recordings of Hamilton to judge us against. It's just, this is community theater here. So
Just remember, it has to be dark, gruesome, and tragic.
I mentioned musicals, right?
You bump into a stack of pages and notice that one is from Earth and it says Hamilton on it when you do that. When you say
Oh
that.
dear.
Oh no.
We've been outmaneuvered,
No
boys.
Okay. Time's up. All right. So does anyone provide an intro? Stage Fright's like,
What is Stage Fright doing?
he's like, get started. Let's go.
I gesture towards old Blue to take the lead.
Fine.
I line up behind him.
The Vale, a treacherous and dangerous place. A place where death and gore and haughtiness are awry amongst all the people that live there.
While he's giving his lines from, I guess, from behind stage, or are you walking out when you're saying this?
I'm walking out saying this.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, as he's giving those lines, I'd like to be climbing up in the rafters or like climbing up one of these cranes, try to get up really high.
Okay, you do that.
I have a quick question for the DM.
Go
I
ahead.
was unclear of this. Is this the stage or is that the stage?
This is the stage. It's a raised
okay. For
wooden
some
platform.
reason,
That's,
I thought that was like the amphitheater type thing. Okay. This
yeah,
makes a little
that's
sense.
a lower area below the stage. It's amphitheater. Yeah.
Okay.
Orchestra pit.
Yeah, that's where the
I apologize for my interruption.
musicians are.
At that point, Stage Fright he pokes out around the corner and he yell whispers to Caber, "You fetch my steed."
Whenever he says that, I jump from the rafters, holding out my parasol in front of me, and I'd like to cast Featherfall on myself as I Mary Poppins my way onto stage. And then I will shout out to Catalan, "You there, fetch my steed. I am Miss Golden Stove." And then, like, as soon as my feet touch the ground, I'll like close the parasol and tuck it behind my back and like bow to the ground.
Right away, Miss Golden Stove.
And then go ahead.
I walk behind stage and I'm like frantically look for something that resembles a horse. And I bring out a mop.
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
Thank you. Wait, it's missing its saddle.
Well, of course.
Stage Fright pops out around the corner and he's to Mason. He says, "That is a goatish look you have upon your face."
I turn to whoever our satire is. I'm like, "Are you feeling unwell? That's a very goatish look you have to your face."
I always look like this. You happen to be looking rather human, if you ask me.
Oh, I guess that would make sense. Are you sure you don't need anything? And I'm like, I pretend to ruffle through like my coat for like vials of potions and whatnot.
Oh, nice. The crowd is like, whoa, like they're all like enthralled. And then Stage Fright pokes out around the corner to Faith, and he's like, "Hush, my sweet dumpling."
I'm gonna walk up to Catalan and just put my hand on his face and just be like, "Hush, my sweet dumpling. The time is nigh. Soon our plans will come to fruition."
Yes, I have just came back from the dead, but yes, our plans will come to fruition soon. Yes, I have to go get a saddle for Miss Golden Stove. I'll be right back. And
You've been saddled with this task?
That I have. And I must complete it honorably for Miss Golden Stove. And I rush backstage to find something that resembles a saddle, and I come back with a book.
And put it on the mop.
And I just hold the mop sideways and put the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I straddled the mop.
Stage Fright pokes out around the corner and he says, to Blue, "I think I'll hide in the chimney."
Oh, let's return to the apothecary and say, "Oh, they're coming for me. I think I'll hide in the chimney."
No, don't go in there. There's corpses. As I look at the crowd with the gas. face.
Catalan gas.
That would be perfect, since I have a potion to make you almost dead like a corpse, or maybe it will make you dead like a corpse.
The
It's
crowd
one of
gasps
the two.
when Theron says that.
Give it to me.
I pull
Man,
out
I'm
just
drinking
like
it.
a random bottle that I think I have on me, and I just give it.
Absolutely drinking it down.
No, don't. It's poison.
And then in the background, I'm just gonna be like, la 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 la, la 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 la.
Blah.
Stage fright pokes around in the corner to Catawan and says, "Am I to make pie from these crumbs?"
Am I to make pie from these crumbs that you are feeding me? Stage fright?
Oh, the fourth wall. Ooh.
So
It's
did Blue
risky.
die or not?
The audience is confused. Go ahead. What'd you say, Theron?
Did Blue die or not? What did he do after that?
I'm absolutely
Oh, yeah.
pretending to be dead, but I don't know if whatever you gave me killed me.
If you pretend to be dead, the goblins come and they drag you off.
Oh, I was going to drag him off. But
Oh,
okay.
you can totally do that. Yeah, you can drag
Yeah,
him
I
off.
drag him off, and I like act like I'm rolling him over into a grave, like off stage. Like you see him just like roll him with like a thump. As I pretend to roll him into a grave, like behind stage.
Stage fright whispers to you, "This is no night for joy."
Yeah, I turn to the rest of the group. I'm just like, I'm afraid I picked the wrong potion. It's not a night for joy.
One of our compatriots has fallen. Whatever shall we do, Miss Golden Stove?
Stage fright turns around the corner and says to Caber, "Well, here is a serpent."
Well, here is a serpent. As I point at Catalan.
Me?
The audience gasps.
I am the honorable knight Sheathblade. How dare you accuse me of being a serpent?
You think this is a mighty steed? This is nothing for the Madam Gold. Madam Goldstone. And I like throw the mop down. I'm like, this is nothing but a mop.
Is this a school for ants?
Well, maybe you can use that mop to clean up this mess that the apothecary has made.
There was no mess. Don't worry. It was clean and simple.
Stage fright whispers to Theron, "Oh, for a sword! Sword!"
He turns to Catawan. He's like, I have a potion that will make your sword very fresh and very, very lethal. It will make it very sharp.
Please, quickly, before Miss Goldenstove casts some sort of spell on me. I need to defend myself and my honor.
And then
toss in my water skin.
Stage fright like leans around the corner to Faith and says, "What fresh horror is this?"
I take the potion that Theron says will help Catawan's sword and say, "What fresh horror is this?" and chuck it into the audience as hard as I can and say,
I don't know what horror that was. It
"You
was a
can't
random
fool
one."
me. You poisoned that guy, and now you're gonna break this guy's sword. I know what you're up to, you fiend. You're trying to stop us
No,
so
I-
that you can protect the city that we want to take over." And then I'm gonna like do a little minstrelly dance.
And I'll copy her perfectly.
The audience gasps and then claps as you all break into a side dance, and like it transitions from like narrative to suddenly dancing number, and then and you look up and you notice that the moon is like raising and then swinging, and you can see a face behind it. I'm gonna see how they're doing. Those will take rolls. Oh dear.
That's not good.
Oh.
Dang it.
And I don't know how to interpret that result. She
That's not a good result.
yeah. Well, she there's good and bad. So you can see that she's trying to get an angle, but the moon is swinging, and she keeps getting blotted out by the moon. And she's it looks like she's holding a crossbow. And Moongrave, you can only just see the little magnifying glasses that she's holding on a thing, from her balcony. And anyways,
I'd like to, now that I'm dead, I'd like to go over to the crew member who I was flattering before, the moon guy, and say, hey, could you get the moon to stop swinging so much? It's kind of messing with things.
to Speckle Nose.
Yeah, to Speckle's Gleam.
Listen, I'm a professional, and I look. I'm trying to do the best I can. I'd like to see you try to move this thing. There's only one of me here.
And while that conversation's going on, I'm gonna turn my dance into chasing Theron to draw the eye away from that side. That I somehow got blue in there. I don't know, but just draw people away from the direction of the moon so they don't notice what's going on.
It's the play is coming to an end. I think it looks like a couple of things. Stage Fright pops out and says to Caber, "See, I blush red as a radish." And then you can try to help him somehow, but Speckle Nose seems to be struggling to keep it from swinging. And if you can try to assist him, I will give her another shot. I'll give her the help action.
I turn to Katawan, and I'm like, "You, with your excellent sword skills, help defend me from these this fiend." And I point to whoever's chasing me.
These
Faith is the one
fiends so
chasing you,
scary,
right?
make me blush like a radish.
I shall protect you.
Oh, a mighty knight makes me blush like a radish.
Katawan waddles over as if encumbered and stands to defend Theron or the nervous apothecary.
Then you guys start what do you use for your sword? Like your broomstick? Oh, I guess you have a toy sword though.
No, I have a toy hammer.
You use your toy hammer.
I use my toy hammer. Yeah.
All right.
My mallet.
Caber
No,
has
rubber
a
mallet.
legit
That's what it is.
Sword.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna just totally ignore what he's doing and turn to Caber and be like, "You blush like a radish and you'll die like one too. I'll pick you right up and toss you in stew." And then I'm gonna gently push him off the front of the stage so he's behind this
And
thing
very
here.
tall.
And I'm gonna throw my stuffed turtle after him because it's gonna be turtle soup.
As he falls off the stage, I cast Fairy Fall again on myself and do it in slow motion, going, "Ah!"
Oh, no, you're who's going off stage.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion
This
fall,
makes
my bad.
zero sense.
Like
So-
Mufasa falling off the cliff. Yeah.
No, yeah, I just meant the play overall.
So meanwhile, Blue, what are you trying to do? Actually, you're with Zolt, and that's okay. What are you trying to do to help Zolt get the moon up?
Well, the moon's already up. It just needs to stop moving, right?
Are you gonna try to operate the machinery, or are you gonna try to stir him? How do you? They need help. They're struggling.
The moon needs to stop moving, right?
Yeah.
I would like to. Can I? Attention. I would like to shoot an arrow at the moon and cast Ensnaring Strike. Would
Alright.
this accomplish my strategic objectives?
Yes. Roll to hit the moon
Uh-oh.
because you got to hit it.
You couldn't hit the broad side of a bomb.
Yep,
the
boy.
broadside.
Big money, no whammies.
It's not It's not really hard. It's just 80 feet away, but it is
Yeah.
up. Oh, you did good.
Hey.
Fortunately, my bow has 600 feet of range.
So I think you see this sword fight on the stage and then all of a sudden Faith comes in and helps, and then Caber's and then there's this magic arrow that's flying up above him and stuff, and the audience is just wowed. And the moon is there. Now we have to hope that she can pull off her strike. And
I
that's
sure
all
hope
that it
so.
takes. It's all
Good
that
thing
it
that
takes.
someone is willing to inspire her.
I
All right.
give her my inspiration.
Okay, sure. That'll give her 2. She needs to beat. Actually, let me look it up.
I forgot I had inspiration.
Let me see. A 17. But she has a easily. Well, we'll look at the math here in a second. Here we go. Okay, so 13 plus her bonus is what we have to hope for. And I have her stats right here. For Glister. 13 plus... This is the last shot by the end of the play. Character sheet. Holy smokes. This thing is OP. I'm not making this up. It's ridiculous.
What'd you get?
She's got a proficiency bonus of 2 and a dex of +4 for a total of +6. So she got a 19 to hit.
Nice.
So everybody's like cheering and I assume this is the end of the play, or would someone like to do like the, what do you call the end of a Shakespearean play? I can't remember what that's called. Does someone want to wrap up this number? Like the story.
You can wrap this up.
Right.
With Miss Golden Stove
Yeah,
turned
thank you.
into turtle soup, and a knight protecting some dude who wants to break his sword, and a dead blue creature, we find our last hero, foolish minstrel tiefling, the most amazing person, and then I cartwheel off stage.
I give.
Did
I
you-
take my. I
You
take
get
my
an
water.
inspiration token back for that. What were you saying, Mason?
I take my water skin and go. Cheers to Catalan, and then take a swig of it, and then keel over. Fake dead.
Oh, a tragedy. Nice.
Love it.
Well,
Charlie!
the audience is thoroughly confused, and some of them clap, and others like look at each other.
And then I'd like to
the way
imagine
we
from
like
like
them.
somewhere deep in the castle, making no sense, we just hear like a whisper of Fel saying, "Adrian!"
So you see, but you can see from the moon like this arrow shoot out, and then you just see a pair of magnifying glasses on a rod, like for viewing glasses for a balcony, just simply tumble down and smash and break in the amphitheater.
I think that's our
I would
cue
like
to
to
leave.
softly gasp.
I would, despite what Theron just said, I would like to retrieve my turtle and my caber and take our bow.
Yeah, you guys line up for a bow.
Because,
Yeah.
I don't want to piss off the, living NPCs.
I was talking about escrow and how in the first campaign I had like an escrow of XP because I didn't want to go over level 5. For those characters who don't have their soul back right now, you can escrow an inspiration token. So as soon as you get your soul back, you can use it. Everybody else gets an inspiration token, except for Nina, who's not here, of course. But so the audience, some of them get up and like they clap. You can hear that they're arguing amongst themselves. Some of them feel this is like a metaphor, like it's like high art. Others are like just really confused and just lost. And yeah,
Just the way we like them. Yeah.
It was high art. That's all it was. 100% high art.
you probably have a small amount of time before these minions start to figure out that their boss is dead. Blue, just as a reminder, you have a strong feeling that your soul is back across from where you found Gleam on the top floor of the tower on the 3rd floor, and Gleam is currently on the 3rd floor, but
Yeah,
on the opposite end of the balcony.
let's suavely depart from the stage and
Make our way upstairs.
make our way up.
Stage
but
fright. He comes out and he says like, That was amazing. That was great. There's so much heart, so much depth. It speaks to the goblin condition. It's something that it's life changing.
Yes.
Would you like an autograph?
Yes. Does everybody take
Okay.
5 minutes to give an autograph?
I mean, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Padawan starts
Oh,
to,
yes,
but
of
then
course.
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah.
Okay. The audience starts to leave and take a break, and Stage Fright gathers. He's tried to pin this down. He's like, "What was the name of this tale? It was you went off script, but it was brilliant."
It was
Miss
why
Golden
God why.
Stove- Miss Golden Stove's Fall.
No, that's the
Golden
subtitle.
Stoves.
Why God why? Miss Golden
Fall.
Stove's fall.
Why gods? Why? It's delicious.
kind of a metaphor for how terrible the Vale can be sometimes with all the tragedies. Even the high and mighty fall eventually.
This
And how
Vale,
just-
it sounds like a really terrible place.
It's, yeah.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, it does work.
Its worst qualities are committed by the people who exist inside it.
There's a pretty great tavern there you might want to check out.
Okay, we gotta get going.
Okay.
We gotta get going.
Yeah.
Onward and upward.
I can escort you to Lady to Miss Bittermoon
Oh,
herself.
No.
We
We
know
can
the
find
way.
our own way. We're-
Oh,
We already
yeah,
met with
we're-
it before, so we know the way.
We're VIPs. We
Oh,
know
wow.
our way around.
Well, okay.
Yes,
you're,
we're very encourageable people.
you're welcome here to enjoy the plays anytime you want.
Yep, we'll do that.
All
We'll
right,
keep that in mind.
as you're like walking away,
Yeah.
I'm just
And
gonna like
as-
move you guys up here. You don't have to try to
as
navigate
we-
the entire map.
As we go up the stairs, I would like to leave behind the giant 8 foot by 6 foot mousetrap to block
Oh.
the stairs.
Yeah, totally. Let's see here. I'm gonna put her on her balcony, and then I'll put you at the stairs. It's hard to fit you here, so it's gonna take a second for me to do that. Put you there. Put you there. You all don't really fit all in here. There you go, and then I'll move the camera. All right, so you make your way into the castle, back to the stairs that you found, the spiral staircase. It spirals up like a stone fortress. It's very cramped, eventually going up 3 floors until you make it up to this really noisy part where there's this electricity and this big rotating orrery down below you. And the balcony, it goes around, or not the balcony where she watches the plays, but the orrery. You can look down. There's a balcony where you can look down into this electrical energy here. And let me find my place here. Blue, you viewing gallery. Well, first of all, you all can see the body of Endola Moongrave, and she is no longer a thing of beauty. Caber, you saw her last session like this, when you all met and talked to her. And she instead now looks like this. Let me see if I can... Yeah, here
She
we
look a
go.
little haggard.
She looks a little haggard. She looks like she looks
I'd
like
like to throw Theron into the orrery.
she looks like this like half spider, half desiccated thing that has a plague going on inside of her stomach.
Oh, dear.
Except now it's just slumped over the balcony and
That's
motionless.
the real tragedy.
So you're really playing to our fears.
Ho ho! Anyways,
All right, everyone over the balcony.
Everyone has
I know. It sounds like it was staged, but I swear.
oh
All
man,
right.
oh.
Gosh.
That's where her last words. Have you ever heard the tale of Darth Plagueis?
That's pretty wise to me.
Everybody loses the inspiration. Never mind. Never mind.
Oh, come on. Don't call the curtain on me yet.
Anyway, what we got here? Blue. You
Yeah.
see, This seems important to Blue. Interesting. I think I may have this wrong. I might have this wrong.
Came so far and got so something else, and in the end, it didn't even matter.
Tried so hard and got so far, you messed it up.
Man, the messing it up was
You can't fool me.
acknowledged.
If this were actually a readable book, this wouldn't be a problem. Okay, M20. Let me find it here. Yeah. I know what's happened. I was thinking on the second floor. Blue, you feel a very strong, like this part of you that's missing. You can feel it in the direction of this door right here.
Gosh darn it.
Also, eventually, Glister makes her way over here, and she approaches you all, and she says, I can't believe it's happened. It's the bitter end. It came. The prophecy, it's fulfilled.
Yep. That's the trick about prophecies. There's always that twist at the end. It never quite happens how you think it does. Anyway, someone help me get this door open. Is this door locked?
I can return to my sister now. I can try to help with the door. I think you should be careful. Don't touch it. There's something wrong with this door, and she approaches it. And she says, did I hear you correctly that you need to go to the palace?
Yeah.
Okay.
Palace of Pleasure.
Why is it that you...
Desire.
I think that this leads into Bitter End's room. Why would you want in there?
Because
know
I gotta.
I understand. I need to make it back to my sister before the Dark Ones find out what we've done here. But if you're trying to get to the palace, then you'll want to go across there. And she points to where Moongrave's body is. One of those rooms contains the belfry, and that's how you can make it there.
All right, great. But how about this door? How do I open this door?
She looks at the door. Let me see here. And all of a sudden, she, I'm going to make her saving throw. She fails it. There is a a force that pushes her, and you see her fly into the air over the orrery, and she falls, yelling.
Dear.
Wow.
Someone with magic intervene.
Does anybody have magic that can intervene?
I only have magic that affects myself.
I am gonna see. Can I upcast fairy? I can't upcast Featherfall, so I can't do anything about it.
Well, shit.
My spell slots.
This force pushes her right after she's like, finally I can be reunited with my sister. She checks the door, and then like this force like blasts her back from the door, as there's clearly some magical protection that's intended to push someone off into the orrery, and she falls screaming into the orrery.
Can I grab her or tackle her?
You know,
or intervene?
You can. It's going to be difficult. I'll say that it's a difficulty class 17, but you can try a dexterity saving throw to catch her before she falls off the ledge.
Dexterity saving throw. I'm sometimes
Can I
dexterous.
give the help action?
Hey, look at that.
I don't think so.
Oh, never mind.
27.
What?
Well, it was a natural 20, and I'm good at dexterity saving throws.
You grab a hold of her arm before she falls, and she's like, "Pull me up! Pull me up!"
Yes, I'm pulling. Children, help me! Aid me with your tiny arms.
I will aid him with my tiny arms and high strength.
All the little children form a little child. You know, everybody's pulling on everybody, and you pull Glister out of the yawning abyss of the space above the orrery that would have fried her to death and chopped her up. And she's like, oh gods, I'm sorry, Blue. I'm sorry. I hope that you find what you're looking for, but I just
Yeah.
want to be back with my sister.
Yeah, you should get out of here.
There's something wrong with this door. Be careful.
All right.
And she
I like how
she
she was
runs
like
away.
so ready to
I-
die
I
a second
wanna-
ago.
I got my monocle of monocling, and I would like to look at the door.
What's it do?
True sight.
Okay. There is a magical spell on the door. It has a. You can actually see a spectral hand waiting there, tapping like a big hand that's like magic, and it's like tapping, waiting for the next person to try to touch the door. There is there's a glyph etched spectrally onto the doorknob, though.
There's a spectral hand. You said, can I would like to thumb wrestle this hand.
Oh yeah, it's going to be really hard, but you can make a performance check. But so you'll use the skill bonus for performance, but it's a strength check.
Oh no, I've been defeated.
And I'm going to try to do that.
Let's see where my stuff is. Strength plus okay, so.
And then, but it will also be a skill check to see if you don't get thrown off this thing.
Okay, well I totally didn't make my performance check.
Okay.
That's
All right.
like a 6.
All right. Let me look at it for a second. Yeah, I think that is the case. Okay. So the next thing you have to make is a strength saving throw. You've got 3 checks. And I'll let someone try to save you once.
Don't worry, I'm great at strength. That's an 8.
That's bad. Okay, cool. All right, you fly off. You can try a dexterity saving throw to grab a hold of the banister before you fly off into the orb.
All right, I'm great at those. I'm not as great as those as I wanted
Dude.
to be. I'm getting better.
All right.
I've gone from 7 to 8 to 9. We're improving.
That's bad. Okay. The last thing that you can do before you get thrown into this thing. How many hit points do you have? I'm just curious.
Plenty.
I'm not going to check. 20? 20?
Plenty. P.
2-0?
Plenty.
And,
Like a lot.
He's saying plenty.
Okay.
He
Cool.
thinks he's got more than he needs, but he's going to be wrong, I'm sure.
Okay. Okay. Someone can attempt to try to like jump over the ledge and have everybody grab them, and then them grab Blue. You don't have to, of course, but
I would like
Ledges
to
work
attempt
in your
that.
games.
this will be a dexterity saving throw.
I can attempt it. I'll probably end up dying, but I can attempt it.
All right.
Oh.
It's not that hard.
Do we
But
just
if you-
throw him?
You can just throw him into this thing and kill him, but
Said throw him
change
a
your
rope.
mind. Oh yeah.
I got
no,
a
he's-
7.
Are you serious?
I got a 4 and I got a +3, so that's a 7.
All right. Well, that's it. Blue flies over into this opening.
Right. Can I cast
You
Misty
fall.
Step?
What?
Misty Step. It's a spell. It
can you
allows
do-
me to teleport to a location that I can see within 30 feet.
Can you do
It's a
that in the
reaction.
midair?
No, it isn't. It's a bonus action.
Yeah. Okay. I guess you can do that. Boop. And then he like.
right back on. Like, all right, Thor, listen
right.
here.
So
We need to have a conversation.
you see the door and you see the big hand, and it's just like this, and then like
I do that
and then
too.
there's a glyph on the doorknob. So those are the two things that you see. Otherwise,
Is
this is
spell magic, or is anyone good at like arm wrestling or thumb wrestling or wrestling?
I want to check out the body of the hag to see if there's like a key on her or anything.
Why would I ever think of doing that? That's ridiculous.
I'd like to
I-
tie myself to the banister with some rope, and then I'd like to cast Mage Hand and try to Mage Hand thumb wrestle the spell.
all right. It would be. I'm going to say it's going to be an Arcana bonus to a Strength check.
Okay. Well, my strength is +0,
And we'll get to that in a second.
and my Arcana is +4. So D20 plus.
And I'm going to do the same thing for the hand as an opposed check. Hey, you don't have to do that. That's the hand's tired, I guess.
I wore it out.
Nat 20. Okay, you tie yourself the rope wisely, and then like you use mage hand and stuff, and you thumb wrestle this, and like eventually you pin the spectral thumb down with your mage hand, and then it shakes, and then it like goes limp, and then it like turns into a spider hand, and then it looks like droopy and sad, and then its hand walks away, and then it disappears, and the door opens, and
then I look to Catalan and say, "This mage hand has saved us so many times."
This is true. Or just
there's a lesson here. Every time you kill a mage, take their hand. All right, what's in this room?
Well, first of all, the hag. You find a spell book. And a bunch of really creepy puppet strings forming a lash.
A lash?
So it's like a cat of nine tails, but it's made of puppet strings with the handle made of a bunch of puppets. The puppets look...
that's not creepy at all.
They look strangely like former people.
Alrighty then.
There
I'm
are
just gonna leave
no
that there.
strings on me.
Okay,
I take the spell book and then I wander on back to the group.
You take the people?
I take the book.
Do you speak Sylvan?
I do not.
Actually, it's Elvish. Do you speak Elvish?
I do not.
Okay, then you can't read the spellbook. Okay. What's in this room, you ask?
Wait, I speak Elvish. Can I read the spell book?
If they are...
I
if you...
hand the spell book to Faith.
Okay.
You call it an article of faith?
It's written in Elvish. It contains the following spells. Detect Magic, Mage Hand, Augury, Polymorph, and Plane Shift.
Plane shift? That's a big deal. Does anyone have any forks?
Is there a wizard in the house?
The resident wizard
Not
has
yet.
left the house.
I have a rusted spatula. Does that work?
I look at Caber and I say, you know who'd probably like this if we managed to get out of here alive, all of us? Wink.
Who? And I wink back.
I'm sorry, I meant Catalan. Did I say Caber?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I just actually I should have.
Fuck it, that was in character. Yeah, I said Caber. I'm just like, when he says that, I'm just like, the other one. What do you mean? Who? She's into books, right?
I'm pretty sure she doesn't know how to read. Anyway, what's in this room?
Anymore.
Okay. All right. This is exactly what the room looks like. I'm going to show it to you now, and then I'll describe it.
Oh my word.
There are scores of wooden marionettes hanging from the ceiling from this oddly shaped room. The floor is strewn with old play scripts. Near the entrance are two alcoves, one containing a bare table, the other one holding a wooden chest with tiny clawed feet. Deeper into the room, you see a wicker basket surrounded by miniature toy birds. Scores of hourglasses are fixed to the walls. Whenever the sand of an hourglass runs out, the mechanism attaches the hourglass to the wall, causes it to flip over and start over. There's a steady hiss of all the falling grains of sand slowly moving in the hourglasses and flipping through the room. And there's a large glass-doored wardrobe with a jade eye at the far end. The jade eye is embedded in its cornice. Yeah, it's at the far end of this alcove. That's what you see at the entrance. Let's see. Blue, did you enter the room?
Yes.
Immediately, all of the marionettes come to life, and they're like, "Intruder! Intruder!" And they start yelling, and they all start saying that.
Shush. Calm down. Jeez.
They do it louder.
Oh,
I go back to the hag and grab that marionette of Nine Tails and bring that back to the room and like lash it out at them to see if that does anything.
They're like, Mistress, please don't! Please don't! And then like their little, they clack, their wooden parts like clack together and they hold their hands up like, please don't hurt me.
Mistress Catawan, no!
No.
This is
Theron runs to
This is
the
sarcasm.
railing outside and
Can I
proceeds to
tell
puke.
any pattern about these hourglasses? Like, they seem to be going in a certain order.
Yeah, I think, well, I'll describe something and then you can attempt, if you want to do a check, you can make an insight check or a arcana check. But what you notice is that the hourglasses are forming a pattern leading to various tables where there are stacks of plays and books.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and roll insight anyway. 23 on insight. I just wanted to know if there's like so there's a certain stack of them that they seem to be like pointing to.
So they're sort of like arranged in rows and then in patterns, like moving out diagonally along the walls, and they're attached to mechanisms which turn. These are over top of tables and furniture pieces and areas where there are stacks of sheets of paper and books. It looks like they're associated with whatever has been put down here with the sheets of papers and books.
Is there a thing here that looks or feels soul-like?
Yes. Sorry. We're exploring the whole room, so I forgot to mention the most important thing. You have an overwhelming sense behind the glass-doored wardrobe is the thing that you are missing.
Great. First a witch, now a wardrobe. I think I know how this story ends.
So again,
I'd like to throw open the wardrobe.
and I'll.
I assume it kills me.
Is anybody going to try? Well, let me describe this. Actually, let me take care of Blue and then switch to anybody else that doesn't. Is anybody going to try to accompany Blue as he looks at the wardrobe?
I think I'm more looking at the play scripts and trying to figure out the hourglasses.
Okay.
I will stay back here so that if the puppets go after the wardrobe, I can just make a campfire in front of them.
Okay.
Seems like
I'll
a good way to
accompany
look at the
Blue.
puppet.
Okay. You accompany Blue. Okay. And then Catawan.
Blue, do you need any assistance? Do you want us to join you?
I mean, it's a wardrobe. If it attacks me, please help.
Have you
Okay.
ever heard of the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
No.
So what does Catawan do?
Catawan accompanies Blue.
Okay. All right. So, and then you said Faith is staying back in case something happens, and Caber's looking at the plays. We'll get to that in a second. There is a flash of light that envelops them, and all of a sudden they seem to shrink and blink out of existence, and then they're gone. And the doors
I
close.
always knew that a wardrobe would be the death of me.
Now I'll describe the rest of the room and what happens, or what you guys have. So just to be clear, you've got these dangling marionettes. You've got the glass wardrobe that they opened, and then all of a sudden, poof, and they were sucked into it. And then you've got the hourglasses on the walls. You've got a wicker basket and toys, and a treasure chest. And then there is stacks of plays. Caber, you said that you looked at one of the stacks of plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You see a book. Actually, it's several rolled up sheets of parchment. Most of them are still blank, but a lot of them have been written in, and you find a familiar name in the title. It says the Hells of Haon, a 3-act tragedy by Endola Moongrave.
Okay. like to read it and try to decipher it. It's a play, right? So I noticed Hayon's name on it.
Yeah,
I
it
guess I
is.
was trying to see how it ends.
It hasn't been finished. And that's the blank pages, but as you flip through it, you see a very familiar story. You see, basically, it looks like almost biographical from a tragedy point of view, and it starts by talking about this elf who was destined to find the blade of his people in the Isle of Evermeet, and then ended up falling into another dimension and went to this place called the Vale, and then went on all these adventures and made all these friends. And even though he was called to find the blade of his people, he set it aside in order to take on new responsibilities as this knight marshal of adventurers and to help them. It talks about how he was disturbed in this haunted forest when he was unable to defeat himself, and it betrayed his friends to an entire destiny of misery, where they carried around with them curses and broken hearts, and how he never got over the guilt of that. And then when he came back and was serving this kingdom, how he longed to return to Evermeet and find the blade, but he set it aside again and again until the time came for him to do his responsibilities, and he found that he failed. And in fact, his friend died, a mentor of sorts, and with the blade of his mentor, he then tried to strike down his own friend, and his friend defeated him in combat, and he saw his own failure in that again. And then he dropped the blade and left, and then traveled to try to set right the wrongs that he had done, and went on a quest to try to make it back home, and to try to find the people that he'd helped in another land. And that's where it ends. The story basically ends as you thumb through this stuff with him, mentioning like Forks, and let me see, there's another city here. It mentions, well, I don't have this. It mentions some other cities, but you recognize Forks, and how he's gone there to try to help them as a means of making amends.
Okay.
You know, I never noticed this while playing with him, but Hayon's a little quantum leapy there.
Did the
Not really.
hourglasses react at all to them walking through the wardrobe?
Yeah.
So
But
do they seem to like? Are they like keeping time of it being open or closed?
no, but you see that as soon as they opened it, there is a row of hourglasses that seem to correlate with it opening and closing.
So could I tell if certain hourglasses are keeping time in different planes?
It looks like these hourglasses are related to the stories, which are prophecies that are laid down by this grim theater. And it looks like Moongrave is trying to bring about bitter ends to all the stories of the things that come across. You know that. So, for example, Hayon.
Can I find any plays that have any of the rest of us in them?
Yeah, you find a play like called and it's almost like it's like there's no way that what's his name, Stage Fright could have already gotten this up there. Here, it's no way he could have done it, but it's called The Tale of the Vale, and it's and it details basically the stories that you know about yourself, and I would imagine it's really hard to read because it includes tons of personal failures and grim things. It's written with an almost like you can tell that the author is really indulging in the details and has enjoyed writing this. It is not finished. In the end of the story, at the back, it talks about all the various things that would have led to the end. And it doesn't have, it's not written, it's not finished, but it talks about like a weapon, and then it talks about a corruption, and then the last thing it says is dragon.
Does the dragon have a name?
It's not clear by the end. Like it's not. You don't know the end. The story's not finished. I got blank pages.
Are there any plays with Dane now?
Well, Dane is mentioned in the Tale of the Vale, but you would have to spend some time trying to search through all the stuff, which you could do.
That's exactly what Caber does. I think at this point he has faith in his friends that they will figure out that aspect of their being in there. And he also remembers when he fell into the frog to get the aspect of himself. There was a lack of other people with him, and he has faith that those few that went in can handle it. And
all right.
He spent time because he thinks this is important to
Sure. Remind me. Like, don't let me forget. I'll come back to this. I'm going to move the camera for now. And Faith, what are you doing? So you see the three people that disappear. What does Caber look like when he finds these pages? Like, is there any kind of tell that he's like, does he show some sort of surprise or emotion, or does he just keep going through papers and stuff and looking at hourglasses?
I think there is a look of urgency on his face, but he's incredibly focused, and he probably doesn't even say a word. Like,
Okay.
He kind of looks like, I imagine what he looks like is kind of like Felsane looks as she's studying her magic and stuff.
Yeah. So that's what Caber looks like, Faith. So what is Faith doing?
Caber has resting bitch face. No. I mean, I'm mostly just gonna keep an eye on the puppets, because the last thing I need is for them to, like... I'm assuming they're gonna try and move.
Is it
I
fair
don't know.
that Catalan, you just handed Faith the cat of nine tails, or either that or they're screaming marionettes? It's okay. Do you keep the cat of nine
That
tails?
does actually change drastically how I react, so... Like... Thomas, you there?
But I think I may be.
Yeah, what?
I was saying, if you followed Blue but kept the cat of nine tails, then the marionettes are no longer under control. So you could hand it off to somebody.
I handed it off.
Okay, so they stay cowed and they shudder in fear, and they're like holding their eyes like, oh, and they clack and clank, their wooden parts and stuff.
Yeah, then I'm mostly just gonna ignore those guys and maybe shush them once in a while.
Yeah, they're scared of you.
But he's totally, like, from the outside, I imagine looking at Caber the way he's reading that stuff, that's like Caber's version of being horrified.
Okay.
Me as Faith. So I'm just gonna, like, pick up a different book. And, like, also help, maybe.
All right.
Or also be horrified and not helpful at all.
Well, what do you want to do? Are you going to try to help Caber?
How do I help Caber? He's just reading a book.
Yeah, well, he's urgently sifting through a bunch of plays. I mean, you could ask him.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, I will help him urgently sift through a bunch of plays.
Okay, you guys remind me of that when I pan back to you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. In the meantime,
Well, we've gone to meantime.
Well, better than median time.
Greenwich, the lair of my ancient enemy.
You all you're pulled through this this wardrobe, and you find yourself in this infinite kind of vibrant colored miasma of stars and vapors stretching off into space as far as you can see. Theron and Katawan, you've never seen this before. I don't think Katawan has seen this. He's seen a lot of things. I don't think he's seen this. Blue, you don't remember this, but you have a vague sense of familiarity. There are these structures, like portions of worlds, and they're bound by chains, and they're floating and tethered together by chains and by different magical energies that you can see arcing between them. And every once in a while you can see off in the distance entire worlds as they're colliding into each other, and the shock waves, if you can imagine, like atomic explosions, as they like blast off from each other, and like whole portions of planets are like breaking off from one another and colliding off in the distance.
Ooh, violent.
Are
Right,
we in our adult forms?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you would be. Let me put you in your adult form. Thanks for reminding me of that.
You find yourselves all clad in bikinis.
I sure hope not.
Adult forms.
I don't
No,
think
not-
anybody
not
wants
that
to see
kind-
Catwoman in a bikini.
Yeah. No. Oh.
Oh god.
Be gone, you're not in Narnia.
Here we are. We've got a Theron, and we've got a Katawan. I will resize you guys here.
Ah, yes, now I am old blue.
I
Same
forgot
as
he
the
looked
old
like
blue.
that. Fucking Catwan.
Okay. Let me get back here, and then, yeah. So, that's what you can see. What do you all do? I should also note that you see and hear a group of strange women that are part snake, part bird, and they are singing a sad song together in perfect unison with different instruments.
Do I have memory? Or am I still me?
You do not have your memory. Yeah, you're still blue as far as you know. But you do have a strong sense that the part of you that is missing is over here.
Over there. Okay. It seems logistically difficult to get over there. How big are these chains here? Like, can we waltz across the chains with these?
You could the chain link is probably this big. As you exit this energy, and you have kind of like this, almost like a half tomb, where it's like a plinth, half of a plinth, that you kind of come out of this magical energy. Theron, Katawan, what do you all say when you see all this, and when with blue here and everything?
Well, this ain't normal. This is quite the spectacle. I could sit here and stare at the stars for ages.
This is pretty wacky.
Yeah, I don't know where we are, that's for sure.
I think I need to get to the thing across the way that looks like the thing we're on now. That's I'm feeling that.
Alright, well, let's see what these witch snakes have to say. Got a dollar says that they're not friendly.
Yeah.
Blue, as soon as you step forward, they do, in fact, one of them stops their singing, and she points a weapon in your direction, a spear that's clearly magical, and she says,
Oh dear.
she says, you, and they all draw their weapons and they stop singing. Look what you have done! It's all ruined!
I put my hands in the air. I think I'm thinking I got the wrong guy. I'm pretty sure I've never been here before or met you. I apologize for whatever my doppelganger did.
They look at each other and they whisper and talk back and forth, and one of them comes up and talks in the ear of this one who's clearly in charge, and they talk for a moment, and then the one in the center turns back to you and says, yourself has been taken. This is a worthy fate for you. Even better, if you find yourself, you will make this right.
What happened here? It's not supposed to look like this.
She motions out to like entire like planets out in this astral sea that are like slamming into each other and being destroyed. And she says, "No, this is not the order of things. We kept peace on the staircase for eons. Sometimes it cycles and starts over. It is destroyed and rebuilt. It always regrows in time. And so, in a way, we know this is inevitable, but that does not lessen your responsibility in this. You brought the powers, and with the powers, the corruption. Even now, you stink." And actually, something that you can see when you look down, I forgot to mention this, but Katawan and Theron, you probably notice it, is that your voice booms and echoes when you talk, and there's a sort of like shimmering glow about you.
All of us or just me?
All of you.
Weird.
All right. I'll assume that made sense to you. Could we pass by?
Whether you perish here for what you have done in ignorance, or whether you find yourself and have to answer for what you've done, I think it a fitting fate. My sisters and I will continue our doom song until the end.
Doom song. All right, that's ominous. Just kind of skirt around you guys then. Have a good one.
You seem to have quite an impact wherever you go, Old Blue.
I am innocent of all charges. I'm confident I would remember this. All right.
There's this chain here. The chain is as wide as our small road. Like you could try to walk across, although it's also possible to fall off. But across from the chain, and it does seem to remain taut. Although you get the sensation that this huge stone moat of land that you're on is sort of slightly shifting. But across on this other one that it's connected to, you see this huge figure, this thing over there. And it looks really upset and confused, and it's like it has this big club and it's slamming the stone platform that's on, and then it runs over to a place and looks confused, and it mutters to itself and looks really afraid and confused and angry.
I turn to Blue and it's like, another one of your friends?
I'd have to remember someone that ugly. Now I'm convinced this is all a misunderstanding. Yes. Do I know what that is?
You could make a nature or arcana check.
All right. Well, I'm good at arcana. That's a 26.
26. Yeah, this is you know what this is. It's a It's a Grimlock. A Grimlock is it's a thing that lives usually in caves and underneath the earth in worlds, and they're just they're not that smart. They're kind of like trolls or ogres or something like that. It's probably just really afraid and confused.
What languages do it speak?
It speaks
Grimlockian?
Grimlockian. Yes, it does now. I mean, that's way better than the truth anyway. Let me see here.
I took like half a year of that in college, and I don't remember a word.
What languages do you guys speak?
I speak Draconic, Elvish, and Common, and Gnomic.
Catalan?
I think.
Celestial, Common, and Orc.
Okay, and blue?
Celestial, Abyssal, Infernal, Primordial, Sylvan, and I think something from Memoryless Blue I picked up.
Yeah, so you all do not understand what this thing is saying.
Shame.
I think that's my languages. All right.
Another language barrier, great.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's mildly preferable to being yelled at.
You guys are your
Language I
adult
wouldn't stand.
selves. You're like level 18 or 20 or something. Do you not have like spells and all kinds of crazy stuff at this point?
Yeah, I got spells and all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't have parlay with Grimlock.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Blue does not have. So you're using your blue sheet, but Theron and Catalan, you're using your like
I see.
adult sheet.
In that case, I'm tiny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
can.
don't have cool stuff.
We
I
can
mean,
start
even with all my
uploading the
spells,
nukes
like,
on it.
I mean, I can do a bunch of stuff to it, but I can't speak to it.
All right, what do you guys do?
Okay, if I'm young me, that changes things. I'm of equivalent age, but I'd like to attempt to waltz across this here chain if that's a logistically feasible thing.
Actually, Blue, before you do that, how accurate is this distance here in checksum?
Not accurate actually. I would say that's probably 50 feet across. I apologize.
50 feet. All right. Well, it's still close enough. I'm gonna cast dancing lights. Four lights kind of glow vaguely around him. I just want to see what he does.
Okay. You
long
cast
light.
dancing lights, and he's so scared, but then he sees like all these lights, and he's like, "Ugh, ugh, ugh."
I'm like,
And he tries to catch it, and then like it's in his hands. There's no light there, and he's like, "Ugh," and he keeps trying
So
to grab
I'm like-
the lights.
I'm just gonna say it's like I'll keep him over distracted somewhere else with these lights, if you guys want to scamper across.
All
while we
right.
Scamper across.
Sounds like a good idea.
I will cast Pass Without Trace as well.
Okay.
That's just a nice spell to have.
I just want to say I'm really proud of you guys for finally trying not to eat somebody in front of you.
We only
Grimlock
did that
bit too
once,
big to
and
eat.
you were the villain for stopping it. All right, I would like to attempt to cross this chain.
All right, you do so. It stays taut as long as you move kind of carefully. And Theron, you're using your dancing lights. The Grimlock is over there trying to play with the lights like a cat with a laser toy.
I also scurry across.
And the Grimlock is focused on the lights.
And I scurry across the wall. And I will say it has a concentration of 1 minute, but I like every time it ends, I just recast it since it's a cantrip.
Yeah, that
It's
works
like the lights
perfectly.
will like disappear, then they'll reappear like within a short distance,
Now-
just to keep people distracted.
With Pass Without a Trace, does that mean you all can't be? Are you hard to see?
We're hard to see, not invisible, but like
Oh man.
it's plus 10 to stealth, and we don't leave tracks.
Okay. So are you trying to not be seen?
Yeah. I
okay.
think
They can actively only be tracked by magical means, so if anybody was observing them, now they're not.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-oh, that's ominous.
All right. Cool. Yeah, you're over on this this huge moat of like a planetoid here, a small one, and this Grimlock's playing with the lights and not noticing you at all.
Lovely.
You can see this is only about 40 feet across, and then there's a little ledge here, and there are two figures at the base of these stairs that are standing there looking up at the stairs talking to each other.
All right, well, let's just casually mosey on over this chain. Can we do that?
Yeah.
What do these figures look like?
I will tell you. They, if you come across the chain, they stop what they're doing. They see you, and they. One of them looks down as you're like down at this ledge at the bottom where the chain comes across, and it says. Oh, I see you have become a paro also. We were trying to find our way back to Toro when the staircase collapsed. And the other one is like, oh, it's Din. It's been a long time. It's good to see you again. And they also have booming, like echoing voices and are glowing.
Are you must also have me confused with someone else. I'm a little causing me some problems. I've never been here before.
Oh, I see. Something has taken yourself. Very well. Well, I hope that the tickets that I got you for the carnival were helpful.
Oh. I had wondered who had done that. Look at that. Mystery solved.
I could tell that there were a few powers among your number that needed some help.
Is that what you do? Just kind of roam around helping powers?
Something like that. And then her frog friend like croaks. Blah.
There's a frog here?
Yeah, she has a frog.
It's not a bad idea. Must keep the bugs off you. Very practical. All right. Well, if you're not gonna stop us or yell at me, I think we'll just kind of be on our way.
I'm not gonna stop you. Where are you trying to go?
Over thereabouts, and I'd like to indicate with gesturing the location that I'm being drawn towards.
And then
Got a thing over there I need.
the dog person is like, well, our plan here has not worked. We could try to go with you and see if we can be of help. Maybe we can find a way back to Toro by the way that you're going. These staircases, they go up and they just go over there. It portals back to another place. It's not helpful.
All right. Well, you're welcome to.
When he's
come
talking
with,
about
I suppose.
Toro, do I know what he's talking about? Does Theron understand what he's talking about?
Katawan and Theron, both of you all would know. I mean, that would be like saying Earth,
Okay.
for us. Like Toril is your world.
All right, yeah. I just didn't know there's like different planes and whatnot. I didn't know if it was like a separate plane of existence or something like that.
It is
Or
also
Theron.
that. Theron would know
Alright.
that.
All right. Interesting.
Toril is the Vale, right?
No.
Oh.
Toril is the planet / crystal sphere / world / plane of existence that Faerun is on. What else is over there? Who cares? It's just Faerun, right? It's the
Okay.
what do they call it? The not Forgotten Realms. It's like the only place where D&D adventures took place for 20 years.
The Gotten Realm.
The Gotten Realms, yeah. The Faerun, the Sword Coast. where you're from. It's all there.
Gotcha.
And that is not where the Vale is, yeah. That's where you thought the Vale was in the beginning, and then you found out later that the Vale is a demi-plane.
All right. Well, here's a good question. What's going on with this rectangle over here? It looks fancy.
Yeah, this dog person, he says, "My name is Jazrael, by the way. What is your name?" And Tumblestrum says, "Oh, I apologize. This is my, I once met this, him, his name's, Din, I believe, right?"
Oh, you can call me whatever you want. Yeah, I don't much have a name. Some people
I like to call him Old Blue.
Yeah, it's you see, the joke is that I'm old. It's very rude.
I see. It sounds very rude. I would not call you. I won't call you old. Where I'm from, people don't do that. You should get the claw to the face if you tell somebody they're old.
Ooh, you sound like you have a very polite culture.
I think so. What are your names? What are you doing here?
My name's Catawan, and we're here for a piece of this guy's soul right here. And he claps Old Blue on the back.
I'm just here to make sure you're the one that doesn't die along the way.
Jazrael nods and he's like, "That checks out." And then he looks over at this chain, and he's like, "We've been hesitating going across this chain. We're not sure what that large coffin is. The chains seem unstable there. The planets, they might slam apart or slam into each other with our weight. We're not sure."
Well, is there another way across that you've identified, or is this the way?
We have not found another way. We looked at the chain, it does not seem stable, but these portals here at the top of the staircase, they just connect to each other. That's why we've been standing here.
Oh, I see, yeah. That's not very helpful.
And then
those portals.
You see like a little floating planetoid off by itself with a little surface of like land on it, and there's this little creature like running back and forth, snorting, panicking.
Yep. There it goes again. Alright, well, suppose I'll test this here chain.
You can tell that it's holding for now, but you're not sure when it'll snap. Probably if everyone put their weight on it and started going across, you would need to make it across fast and try to make it across in time. And it might snap anyway soon. You're not sure.
All right. Does moving like one or two at a time to decrease weight load seem practical?
No, because eventually the stress of it would, it seems like you're running out of time if you're going to try to use this chain.
Oh, okay. Well, let's hoof it then.
You tell everybody to do that?
Yeah, I think I do.
Is that what Catawan and Theron, do you try to do that?
Yeah, I'll try and hoof it.
Okay. Illywook, Tumblestrum, and Jazrael, they agree to try, and you all start trying to run across. You can actually hear the chain links begin to weaken and get close to snapping. As you get close to this thing here, you find that it does seem to be a coffin of some sort. It's glowing and covered in runes, and the chains, for some reason, these magical chains that have formed here, they have snapped into this coffin and are pulling it in 3 places.
Interesting. I'd like to get to the coffin and lean down and knock on the lid. Probably the worst idea in the history of man, but
You can make a perception check if you want.
I am perceptive sometimes. Not that perceptive. 14.
Go ahead, Theron.
I was gonna say, could I just cast Identify on it? Since I'm
Yeah.
now standing on it, I would like to cast Identify on it.
Keep in mind that you might not get a long rest for this old person for a long time. But
Okay. Then in that case, I will ignore me.
yeah,
Blue will knock me
little
out.
little meta, but you just don't know, right? That's something your character would know. Anyways, 14. Let me see here. You hear something, but it's hard to understand or make out. It basically sounds like groaning and moaning, but only echoing far off in the distance.
Oh, that's weird. Alright, let's continue on, I suppose.
Lead the way.
As you make it about this far, all of a sudden the chains begin to snap. And yeah, you can start to run, but the chain snaps off, like right here. I'm going to draw like a big, thick, like right there, snaps. And all of a sudden the islands that you came from float off with no way back. And you find yourself like holding on to this chain. And let's see here.
The good news is that should dramatically reduce the stress on the remaining chain bit that we're on.
Yes, you merely need to hold on. Everybody can make either a strength or dexterity saving throw of your choice. And I'll make it for them. Oh my gosh, they both failed.
22 for me. Can I attempt to try and save at least one of them?
I will say that you can, but if you do, there's a chance that you also might go with them if you fail.
Alright, I'm going to try and do it anyways.
You're a hero.
Yeah, I think I'd
damn
like to do
hero.
the same. I'd like to save one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing.
Okay. Wow. Heroes.
We all can't save. There's only 2 to save. Come on.
Over saving. No one's ever been saved too much.
I have a dumb question because
okay.
it's just not something I've thought about in a long time, but can you use an inspiration token for saving throws? I can't remember.
I think so.
Okay.
Basically anything with a D20 involved,
You can
inspire.
you can use your inspiration because for that heroic act, I'll give you guys new ones. Except Blue doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Alright. Well,
Single
with that
tier rolls
inspiration,
on my
I got a 23.
23. Okay, and what did you get, Catalan?
18.
All right, so you managed to save them. It would have been interesting if you hadn't, but yeah, you grab hold of them as the chain is like flying, and you're holding the chain with one hand, and each of you grab a hold of another one, and Blue grabs hold of both of you, and you're holding onto this chain, and you pull each other back onto the chain. You're able to pull yourself up as this chain is like just floating off into space. You're able to pull yourself up onto this. Unfortunately, there is something just crazy happening here. This island that you find yourself on now is in utter chaos. And I'll describe what you see here. There are all sorts of little creatures. There's a bunch of them, and they are surrounding this other creature that looks like a humanoid fox. It seems to be trying to guard some books and scrolls and stuff, and these things are like snapping and barking at it, and like it's like get away, you know. Except you might not speak its language. Does anybody speak Abyssal? Or
No.
I do speak Abyssal.
Oh yeah, you hear it like telling it to go away in Abyssal. And meanwhile, at the same time, you see a dwarf and some kind of spectral humanoid in armor. And they are clashed in arms, fighting each other at the edge of this thing. This land that you're on currently is just in chaos. And That's the thing over there that you're trying to get to. Also, whoops, don't look at that if it shows up. Okay. Also, there is a woman over here on this other planetoid off by herself, looking worried and scared like some kind of cat in a rainstorm.
Right, well, I would like to use speak with animals.
How do you do that? I mean, what do you...
Like,
to what
like
end?
casting
Sorry.
it. Well, there's animals here, and they seem to be ganging up on this fox. I'm in a somewhat coordinated manner, so I assume they're communicating in some basic sense, and I went to get an idea of what their deal is. I want to listen in.
Oh, they're like... they basically see this thing as like an intrusive predator, and they're all scared. You can infer from them being scared that they're probably unreasonably scared that their planet or the land that they were on is being torn apart, and they're floating in a infinite space, like hurtling to nowhere, and probably going to crash into another thing like them soon. But they don't know that, and instead they are just like scared, and they feel like this thing is in their territory.
Okay, I would like to cast... Well, I already cast Speak with Animals there. Or used it, because it's a thing. And I would like to communicate... Which ends my... Wait, no, it doesn't. Alright. And I would like to communicate... Friends, porcupine friends, don't worry, I have arrived. Everything will be okay. Leave the Foxman alone and follow me, and I will save you.
They all like form a horde of yipping porcupine dogs behind you, and they all like follow you like you have food for them.
We
Yes.
don't need more.
No,
hands.
we've recruited the porcupines.
No.
And then I'll turn to the Foxman and say, actually, I'll just give a thumbs up.
He says, you remember you in Abyssal, and he's like,
Oh, gosh, everyone seems to be doing that today.
yes. Well, I think that you deserve something for helping me, so I will give you this. And he reaches in his stuff, and I'm gonna find something to give you. This. He gives you... Oh, goodness. Give me a second here. Let me just pick something. Oh no. I don't want to get out my DMG, but apparently on D&D Beyond, all of people's stupid homebrew shows up. How do I fix that?
What are you looking for?
Scrolls, but I just don't want everybody's stupid homebrew. Oh, because it literally says homebrew. I don't want that. I want, let's see, collections. I don't want. Where are the rules? You get a scroll. I'll get back to it later.
Right. Hey, do you know what the deal is with the fighting dudes? My foxy friend.
No, I don't know. I have to get out of here if you'll excuse me. And he runs off. And then,
Yep, up and
Don't know where he's going.
float
Yeah,
off in the void.
He does exactly that. He jumps off this chain, and then you see him literally, as he floats, like with his books, like some books float away, and then he literally blinks out of existence.
All right.
Well, that's one way to go.
I'm apparently his... All I was in his way was the porcupines. All right. Hey, you fighting guys, what's up?
One of them is speaking in Dwarvish. The other in a... Does anybody speak Dwarvish? Dwarven?
I speak Dwarvish. I have a Dwarven belt.
It says, you You hateful foe, what has your kind done to this place? Show me the way out of here. I wish to leave at once. And the other one is saying something, but it's in a language none of you know.
All right, just follow us where we're just leaving. Yep.
You say that in Dwarven? You don't speak Dwarven.
I don't speak Dwarven.
I
was not
say
involved
that
in this
as-
This is a
conversation.
multicultural exchange adventure scenario right now. You say that. Okay, Katawan says that the dwarf like raises its shield and it beats back this other combatant and kicks it back, and then it grunts, and then it charges back again and holds it, and the dwarf holds its shield up, and it says, "Help me fight this cruel and hateful spirit." And then it looks at you and it says, "An orc! An orc! You will be next, orc!"
Whoa.
Okay, I think we
no
see what's
need for
going on
that.
It's an old school
Okay.
Forgotten Realms dwarf.
Okay.
All right, you guys have fun.
wanna
We'll
take-
just walk around you.
If you try to walk around them, there's a chance that they might bump into you, or like these things they're in the way. That's the problem. There's not a lot of space here. That's
Yeah.
essentially the issue.
There is.
Padawan
Alright.
takes offense to the dwarf and goes into combat with them.
Oh God.
Oh, rip this dwarf.
Yeah,
Right.
probably.
I'll help if Catawan, if he's not dead by the time Catawan's done, he'll be dead by the time I'm done.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you handle it.
Roll for initiative, Katawan.
Typical
What'd you get?
6.
All right, let's see what the racist dwarf got. A 9, so it's able to go first. Although it's stuck in combat, so it's going to try to attack this other thing instead of you, and it fails. And the other thing tries to hit it, and it succeeds. And the other thing is going to try to damage it, and it does. And you see like a blade flick some blood off of this dwarf from the spectral figure, and it's your turn, Katawan.
Okay, I first take a bonus action to cast Holy Weapon. So now I get an extra 2d8 damage with my Warhammer. Okay, so I'm gonna attack with my Warhammer.
All right.
Roll to hit. Does a 23 hit?
It definitely does.
Okay. So that'll be... $1d8. Then...
Describe your kill.
with one effortless sweep of a hammer, he just takes one to the temple and, like, as efficient as it can be, and takes him out.
This other warrior stops fighting and then nods to you and speaks a bunch of gibberish you don't understand, and then seems to just start following you.
You see, this is why it's important to always be as light as possible. You never know when you'll come across someone whose culture demands that even like a single insult be repaid with murder. Instantaneous murder. Anyway. Let's change venues.
Nah.
All right. The spirit, it goes across and then it goes instead into this portal and disappears. Now, Blue, you feel a strong sense that this half plinth thing, this monolith with energy coming out of it, that's where the part of you is, and Also, these two characters here, they get across the chains and they say, Eliwick Tumblestrom says, thank you for helping us make it across. I see that you're, even when you don't mean to, helping people, Blue.
Yeah, well, it's how it goes.
It's nice to meet you, Katawan and Theron, and I wish you the best, especially for what's about to come next.
Wait, what's about to come next?
Bye.
Don't leave
And
dramatically.
They walk into
French
the portal.
goodbye. God damn it.
Never fails.
That definitely feels like someone I know. Ugh. All right. Let's monolith it up.
Your porcupine dogs follow you, and you all go into the monolith. Is that what you're doing?
That's my intention.
All right, I'm gonna
Is to
copy.
interact with it. I don't know. I'm 2001: A Space Odysseying this. Just like touch it, see what happens.
Oh, we're not back
something-
home.
Something bad happened. Let's zoom out here.
Okay. Let's
Joke's
see.
on you, fool. I've brought an army of porcupines.
Let's
Can
see,
we
let's
eat
go
them?
to This. And
Yes. No one here will stop you.
yes,
We have achieved
be evil,
our
and
great
there's
victory.
nothing anyone can do about it. If you choose to eat innocent creatures here.
Fortunately, they don't remember what I did to them. It's nice to have someone not remember that.
You have Blue as you enter this this portal. It goes down. There's a series of stairs going down into the stone enclosure, and on the other side of it, you can see that there's something lit. There's this light coming from the center, and there's rubble. This room is partially destroyed, and you can actually see portions where the ceiling is like crumbling and falling in. And there's a figure at the other side of the room, and I'll show you the figure. And it says, Din, it worked. I hate to see you, but I'm glad. I'm glad too.
I'm glad to see you too, but I have some bad news. I am under the impression I still don't. I'm looking for myself. Have you seen it anywhere around here?
I'll get to that in a moment. Then he looks to everybody else, and
Part of you led with it.
and he's like, "Why did you bring all these ethics in here? Shoo! Get out of here!"
I have never had ethics in my life. I promise.
And all the
He hasn't.
he chases the ethics around the room for a little bit, and they all get mad and they scurry around and generally just cause a mess and a nuisance and start fighting with each other, and it breaks the spell up. But anyways, he comes over and he says, he offers his hand to shake to Katawan and Theron. He says, "My name's Havron Thane. I'm the guildmaster of the Planeswalkers Guild."
Theron shakes his hand. He's like, "Pleased to meet you. It's my name's Theron. Perenval."
Pleasure to meet you, Katawan Navarra, Direhar of the Vale.
Oh, the Vale, huh? I thought as much. Oh, and you're all powers. Well, it's too late to do anything about that now. And I suppose you'd be wanting this. And he takes a glowing object out of a pocket and holds it up to Blue.
I would like to take it.
You take it, and all of a sudden you are flooded with like memories, and you remember your sister, and you remember the world that you came from, and the plane of existence, and your time as a planeswalker, and working for the Planeswalkers Guild, and then being exiled from them, and then living on the Lunar Isle for an entire year, and your adventures with Faith, and with Set, and everybody else, and Titania. It suddenly occurs to you with your new memories, and you still remember your time as a Witchlight Carney, that Titania was a goddess that whole time. And now, like, like, you realize that your entire, like, livelihood. Now, this is something, suddenly, all at once, all of this comes flooding back to you. And there's a few things that you immediately notice, and it's really bad. The first thing is that the infinite staircase can often go through cycles, cosmic cycles, but across the eons. Usually not this fast, so it can be destroyed and then rebuilt. But the infinite staircase is destroyed, and the Planeswalkers Guild is destroyed, and everything that you knew here on the platform where the Planeswalkers Guild was is gone. And the guild is crumbling and falling apart. And the other thing that you notice when you look at yourself and you see Theron and Katawan is one of the worst fates that can befall a Planeswalker has happened to you. And that is that you have entered into another plane of existence, and it has changed you. And you've been there for so long that now you carry it with you where you go. And that makes you a godling, a portion of a something that could become a god.
Rat. The worst of all possible outcomes.
Probably.
Rats. Ugh.
Yeah. And
So, what do you want to do about it next?
this all happened because you brought that power into the guild. I told you not to do that. You knew this could happen.
She was very stealthy. She just looked like a rabbit to me. There were other rabbits. They had a whole, like, the story checked out.
You knew the wings on her back?
Oh,
I
that
mean-
one. Yeah, that was also a mistake. See, I thought she was just like a servant of a power. The other power was the one making the dude do the slavery with the extra steps. There was a lot of powers involved. I was trying to get them out of here. I was trying to get them on their way. That's they're not supposed to be. Ugh.
It drew the attention of other powers, all their plots and their meddling. Someone came here to use the corruption that you got off the staircase. After you left, years passed. Someone used the corruption. It's destroyed this place. It's like an iron thread. It's weaved its way through the negative planar energy through here. The staircase it's not useful anymore. I lost my best friend during the evacuation. Vegas is gone. I don't know what happened to Breeze. I'm sorry.
That blows. Is there a way to fix it all? I realize it sounds stupid to say out loud, but just like, is there a...
When you say that, your voice like echoes and booms, and like the place shakes more, and he actually is scared for a moment. He's like,
Oh, shut up, me.
Look, I'm sorry, it's too late, Din. You're a power now. You must have went into some plane where it's changed you. Time works differently, and I don't know how long you've been there, but have you gone to some other place? What planes have you gone to?
Oh, I spent a few years interning at the Witchlight Carnival. I say years, I don't know, it was time. Time doesn't flow there real well. And I've been spending a while in the Feywild in Prismere. Kinda sucks there.
Hither, thither, yon.
The domains of delight.
I wouldn't call them that.
No.
They're not very delightful.
That would explain why you're all changed. Well, it's too late for the staircase, and I'm sorry, Din, but it's too late for you. But you can try to make this right. The corruption. Someone took it. They took the thing that caused it, what you found on the staircase.
Yeah, I remember that. That was unpleasant.
They're using it. If you could find it and destroy it. It'll never happen in my lifetime. He looks around, his life's work crumbling around him. He's like, but
Eesh.
in eons' time, the multiverse will reform and change and become something new that people can live with.
You know who... Do you have any leads? You know who took the corruption?
Well,
I'd say it's probably Dane Urinehart.
I don't recognize that name, but there was a group that came through after you left a few years later. They were strange, led by a wizard. They called themselves the Adventurers of Perenval.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Dane Urinehart.
Well... It sounds like he's in the way of my current trajectory. That's good news.
This thing
Hey,
gets
have
really
you-
close to him.
Have you seen a sword around here? Like a Vorpal sword?
I don't know anything about that. A Vorpal sword, that's a... it's a myth.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for it. So if you... Yeah, it's just... it's... Man, the
Look,
folly of my follies.
the good thing about being a power, you can do anything you want now, Din.
I could do anything I want before.
That's true.
Now the world's a lot narrower. Ugh.
I'm going to stay here. My friend, I'm going to go down with this place. I don't want you to try to stop me. This is what I want. But if you want to make a difference, and you can try to find what caused this.
Yeah. Do you happen to know how to get back to Prismere from air?
Oh, that's easy. You'll just go back the way you came.
Oh, okay. I'll hope that makes sense.
I
Okay.
made a deal
I'll-
with someone. I didn't want to see you again. I was angry with you. And, well, you weren't supposed to come around here anyway, but, it's not what it used to be. And they were selling it, so I thought maybe you'd want it. So I used what I had left to bargain for it. I won't tell you what I gave her. But I was hoping you would find us.
Ah. A soul merchant, you say?
Yeah,
It's a dick move.
well,
All right. Well, in the future, kindly don't buy your friends.
in the future, don't destroy, a person's entire livelihood and all their friends and their entire
It
world.
it was definitely not my fault.
All right, look, we don't need to argue.
All right. You're right.
If
Listen, I wish you the best. You've been a great guild master. And I'd like to turn around to the porcupines and say, whatever you do, never leave this Minotaur's side. Ever.
they all
He'll
like
keep you
form
safe
together
whether he
like
wants
an
you,
group.
whether he wants to or not.
Yeah, he's doing the dad thing. He's already got one that he's petting unconsciously and he doesn't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll learn to love him. All right, back the way I came. Well,
When you go back through the portal, you find yourself back in Motherhorn. Except something is different with you, Blue. Din. You, if you choose, have all of your planeswalker powers up to the current level of everyone else. So if you would prefer to be a planeswalker, you now have all of those abilities.
I think I'm. Unless there's a good plot reason for me to not, I think I'm okay sticking with my Feywild abilities.
Sure. Yeah, you learned
Because
them.
that's nice and thematic.
Yeah.
It's pretty similar.
Yeah. You also have all the knowledge and stuff and can do planeswalkery things. So.
Excellent.
Caber and Faith, you see them come out of the back out of the cupboard or the glass case, and when you all come out of the glass case, you see Faith and Caber drastically like throwing papers and looking through books and trying to find
100 years older.
That what we're
I
gonna stop
apologize.
Cyrox?
I was just gonna offer. What do you all do? What do you say when you reconvene?
Well,
Oops.
what did we learn from the books?
I will go over that next time. And actually,
Did I not-
So. Oh, go ahead, Darren.
Did I? Oh no, there. Never mind. I was about to say, did I not reappear? Then I saw myself. So
Yeah. That is where we'll stop tonight.